Nothing and nobody can stop you on your path. It is another beautiful day today. My name is Rory. I am here with the Golden Meerkats, and today we are talking about obstacles, problems, barriers, blockages in the road, and how helpful they are, really. And yet, how no matter what gets in your way, nothing can stop you. Nothing will stop you. Now, let me tell you a little bit about me. I've had many personal problems in my life. We all do. The quicker we accept and embrace that these situations, these feelings, these hiccups do not define or control us, the quicker we can move on past them and really embrace our truer selves. Now, I had a lot of depression issues when I was younger. I was basically diagnosed as manically depressive. And I had a lot of anxiety problems, basically through adopting this stutter for most of my life, which was in essence just my being unable to properly express how I felt about myself, other people, the world in general. My emotions had been shunned and suppressed and bottled up. So that happened at a very young age, so that as I grew into teenagehood, teenager age, teenage lifestyle, I just couldn't speak. I was so anxious about speaking. I didn't want to speak to anybody. I just thought, you know what? Whatever I have to say, you won't listen to me anyway. So I'm just going to talk inside my head. I'm going to just have a nice conversation to myself. Because I don't want to go through the embarrassment of trying to speak and then freezing up and not actually being able to say anything, and then have that judgment implode on me. Just thought, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. But over the years, I started to realize that this is not the best way to be. Because I was fitting in to society. I was fitting in to the images and the perspectives that I had created from other people's perspective of me. Okay, and this is a toxic place to be. When you live through the vision of somebody else, of how you think you should be through them, not healthy. Not a healthy place to be. You were born to be you, so just be you. Now, in saying that, it's not the easiest thing to do. This much I know. Because of all these judgments, these societal conditioning patterns that have been enforced into us all since we were younger. But as you grow older, it is now my duty, it is your duty, it is everyone's duty to rewire all this stuff. To rewire all that judgment, all that embarrassment, all that insecurity, all these self-sabotaging ways of life to rewire all that stuff and now really embrace who we truly are from our heart. In doing this, you face a lot of obstacles. You face a lot of heartbreak. You face a lot of heartache. You face a lot of pain, a lot of suffering. That's just part of it. That is just part of it. The more that you surrender and accept that, the more that stuff seems to fade, and you can then harness that energy. You can harness that into stepping more into yourself. Now, during my late teens, all of this anxiety and insecurity and the fact that I was never being honest and true to my core purpose, it led to a pretty traumatic phase in my life where I ended up self-harming on a few occasions. Now I've got like 19 scars from razor blades on my body, on my temple. I took a blade to my precious temple and slashed it up because I had to feel something. I was so numb, I had become so numb that I was just so desperate to feel something that the only idea I could think of that was left was to inflict pain on myself. Now let me tell you, the feeling worked. It created a very obscure yet satisfying level of pain, to the point where it didn't even feel like pain. It was just, I was so ecstatic to be able to feel something again. But to push yourself to that point, to push yourself all the way to the edge where you would rather inflict pain on yourself than to not inflict pain on yourself, it's not the best place to be. But this was an obstacle of mine. This was a roadblock. This was something that I had to hurdle over. Thankfully, I didn't go any further than that. But still, when I do think back to that phase of my life, it was a blessing. I'm not saying for anybody to do this, but I felt like I had to do it at the time. I had to go through that to then get out of it, to get away from it. I had to get so low to then figure out, okay, I don't really want to be here anymore. I don't want to be in this place anymore. And self-harming managed to, oddly enough, get me out of that. But I don't linger in it. I worked through a lot of stuff after that. And then I hit a point where, you know what? Being the victim, being all, oh, give me sympathy, give me this, give me that. Tell me it's okay, tell me everything's fine. That's almost even worse. That's almost an even worse place to be in, because you can never get out of it. It's okay to mess up. It's okay to make mistakes, because through mistakes we learn what not to do, and we learn what is beneficial for us. So I had let that stuff go a few years after it happened, because more than anything, I was thankful that it did happen, and I was thankful for being able to be grateful to actually let that stuff go, because it doesn't define who I am. It didn't define who I was then. What defines me as a person is nothing. Nothing really defines me. Things happen in life. We all go through phases to get us into a much better, healthier, more truer place. I had to go through all that depressing self-harm to be who I am today, to learn about all that stuff. And I am truly thankful for it. It's not the easiest stuff to go through. And we've all got things like this. We all have unique little personal difficulties, obstacles, problems, roadblocks to get through. And it makes it easier to get through these things by not playing the victim card. You are not a victim. You are not a victim. You are a beautiful, strong being who might have just fucked up a little bit here and there. That's fine. We all do. Welcome to Gaia. Welcome to being a human being. We fuck up. That's what we do. And then we learn from our fuck ups to not fuck up again. That's part of the process. Being who I am now, being who you are now, we would never be able to appreciate who we are. We would never be able to continue to appreciate and be grateful for life if we didn't go through these darker days, if we didn't go through this self-sabotaging stuff. But now is the time to release. Now is the time to let go and forgive. This is so imperative to moving forward. Forgive yourself, anybody else, the history of everything. Learning to forgive all of this with an open, strong heart. No matter how painful it is, the fact that there was pain there is a good sign. It means that you're working through that stuff. Just don't cling on to it. Let it go. Let it be.
Let it be.
Let it be.